one of the first things I said was, wait a minute now, if the gender identity is lining up male, and I'm sure the presentation in the world, dress, you know, I don't know, is lining up as a male, why is the name, the identifying marker lining up as a male? So
right.
my biggest question to her.
This is the same thing that I'm talking about. It's like each generation is defining it differently. So for Penelope's generation, that word, the name, just means love. It's his grandmother. He loves her, but there's no gender around it for him. So he didn't feel the need to change it. Now he doesn't wear dresses. He wears pants. He plays on boys' teams, sports teams. He sees himself and presents himself as a boy, but the name to him meant only love. So it's about like, the individual gets to decide a lot of these things that we thought the society decided, but that's not really working with our young people anymore.
I got two more questions, and then I got to let you go. This has been a fascinating conversation. I really appreciate the time that you're giving me to talk about this. It's interesting because at 12 years old, are you preparing to have another conversation with him?
Yeah. So the first thing is when you're 3, 4, 5, nothing changes except your clothing and the language. There's no physical transformation. There's no doctors involved. So that was just social transitioning. And now as we enter puberty, there's a larger discussion around the body.
Yeah.
You know, and that's as private as your body is to you. We don't talk about how your body looks underneath those clothing. And nor would we talk about my body underneath my clothing, but I'll say that
you don't want to see mine underneath these clothes.
Please stop. Don't.
Listen. I want to talk about your book a little more before I let you go. Okay. What is the essential message that you're trying to give to the world in the bold world? I want to make sure people get the essential thing you're trying to say to everybody and why we should rush to get the book.
I wrote the book for women like myself who didn't know we had to shift. I thought I was pretty open and exposed to everything. And being a Black woman, I didn't think I held much oppressive privilege. But when I saw how much I held over my son and how much I didn't know about my son, I thought, wow, we are blind. A woman like myself is blind to the person in her own house. And so I wrote the book for moms so that we can understand that there's so much more to see with our own children. And it might be trans, it might be something else, but that our children have a life that we have not yet investigated. And then once we investigate that, I'll tell you something, it opens up this woman. This woman is a different woman than I was 10 years ago because of my son who taught me to be bold. So it's an invitation to be bold. It's an invitation to traverse into a new world. It's an invitation to explore and to shift. And we can all use that, especially now we're seeing we are so stuck in our routines, and those routines only work until they explode. So read the book before it explodes. Get the understanding of how we transition and how we shift. Because being flexible, mentally flexible is a muscle. We have to exercise that.
Well, let me tell you something. That sounds like a hell of a book, because I think anything that invites people to do what you just said is something everybody should read. And the journey that you write about, and not just your son's journey, because what I'm hearing from you tonight is this journey is an invitation to mothers and to women to understand that their children's lives are far more complex and far more unreachable in some ways than you think that they are. And one has to be able to love somebody through that.